Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Shrinvatam Svakataha Krishna Punyashravana Kirtanaha Hridayantasto hi abhadrani vidunoti shruti satam Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata seveya Bhagavate uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtikihi. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 26, verses 6 to 7. Verse 6. Tirteshu pratidrishteshu raja medayan pashunvane yavat artham alam labdho hanyad iti niyamayate. Translation. If a king is too attracted to eating flesh, he may, according to the directions of the revealed scriptures on sacrificial performances, go to the forest and kill some animals that are recommended for killing. One is not allowed to kill animals unnecessarily or without restrictions. The Vedas regulate animal killing to stop the extravagance of foolish men influenced by the modes of passion and ignorance. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The question may be raised by which a living being should be restricted in sense gratification. If a king, to learn how to kill, may go to the forest and kill animals, why should a living entity who has been given senses not be allowed unrestricted sense gratification? At the present moment, this argument is put forward even by so-called swamis and yogis who publicly say that because we have senses, we must satisfy them by sense gratification. These foolish swamis and yogis, however, do not know the injunctions of the Shastras. Indeed, sometimes these rascals come out to defy the Shastras. They even publicly announce that there should be no more Shastras, no more books. Just come to me, they say, and I shall touch you and you will become immediately spiritually advanced. Because demonic people want to be cheated, so many cheaters are present to cheat them. At the present moment, in this age of Kali Yuga, the entire human society has become an assembly of cheaters and cheated. For this reason, the Vedic scriptures have given us the proper directions for sense gratification. Everyone is inclined in this age to eat meat and fish, drink liquor, and indulge in sex life. But according to the Vedic injunctions, sex is allowed only in marriage. Meat eating is allowed only when the animal is killed and offered before the goddesses Kali, and intoxication is allowed only in a restricted way. In this verse, the word niyamyate indicates that all these things, namely animal killing, intoxication, and sex, should be regulated. Regulations are meant for human beings, not for animals. The traffic regulations on the street, telling people to keep to the right or the left, are meant for human beings, not for animals. If an animal violates such a law, he is never punished, but a human being is punished. The Vedas are not meant for the animals, but for the understanding of human society. A person who indiscriminately violates the rules and regulations given by the Vedas is liable to be punished. One should therefore not enjoy his senses according to his lusty desires, but should restrict himself according to the regulative principles given in the Vedas. If a king is allowed to hunt in a forest, it is not for his sense gratification. We cannot simply experiment in the art of killing. If a king, being afraid to meet rogues and thieves, kills poor animals and eats their flesh comfortably at home, he must lose his position. Because in this age kings have such demonic propensities, monarchy is abolished by the laws of nature in every country. People have become so degraded in this age that, on the one hand, they restrict polygamy, and on the other hand, they hunt for women in so many ways. Many businesses concerns publicly advertise that topless girls are available in this club or in that shop. Thus, women have become instruments of sense enjoyment in modern society. The Vedas enjoin, however, that if a man has the propensity to enjoy more than one wife, as is sometimes the propensity for men in the higher social order, such as the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas, and even sometimes the Sudras, he is allowed to marry more than one wife. Marriage means taking complete charge of a woman and living peacefully without debauchery. At the present moment, however, debauchery is unrestricted. Nonetheless, society makes a law that one should not marry more than one wife. This is typical of a demonic society. Text 7. या एवं कर्म नियतं विद्वान् कुर्वित मानवः कर्माण तेन राजेन्द्र ज्ञानेन न स लिप्यते. Translation. Narad Muni continued to speak to King Prachinabharishat. My dear king, any person who works according to the directions of Vedic scriptures does not become involved in fruitive activities. Purport. Just as a government may issue trade license in order for its citizens to act in a certain way, the Vedas contain injunctions that restrain and regulate all of our fruitive activities. All living entities have come into this material world to enjoy themselves. Consequently, the Vedas are given to regulate sense enjoyment. One who enjoys his senses under the Vedic regulative principles does not become entangled in the actions and reactions of his activities. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 3.9, Yagnartat Karmanaha, one should act only for the performance of yagna or to satisfy Lord Vishnu. Anyartha loka yam karma bandhana. Otherwise, any action will produce a reaction by which the living entity would be bound. A human being is especially meant to attain liberation from the bondage of birth, death, old age, and disease. He is therefore directed by the Vedic regulative principles to work in such a way that he may fulfill his desires for sense gratification and at the same time gradually become freed from material bondage. Action according to such principles is called knowledge. Indeed, the word Veda means knowledge. The words Jnanena na sa lipyate indicates that by following the Vedic principles, one does not become involved in the actions and reactions of his fruitive activities. Everyone is therefore advised to act in terms of the Vedic injunctions and not irresponsibly. When a person within a state acts according to the laws and license of the government, he does not become involved in criminal activities. Man made laws, however, are always defective because they are made by men who are prone to committing mistakes, being illusioned, cheating, and having imperfect senses. The Vedic instructions are different because they do not have these four defects. Vedic instructions are not subjected to mistakes. The knowledge of the Vedas is knowledge received directly from God, and there is consequently no question of illusion, cheating, mistakes, or imperfect senses. All Vedic knowledge is perfect because it is received directly from God by the Parampara, disciplinic succession. In Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.1, it is said, Tene Brahma Hridaye Ya Adi Kaviye. The original creator of this universe, known as the Adi Kavi or Lord Brahma, was instructed by Krishna through the heart. After receiving these Vedic instructions from Lord Krishna himself, Brahma distributed the knowledge by the Parampara system to Narada, and Narada in turn distributed the knowledge to Vyasa. In this way, Vedic knowledge is perfect. If we act according to Vedic knowledge, there is no question of being involved in sinful activities. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमति भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाशतदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. I like to seek blessings from all the assembled devotees and Vaishnavas, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to purify myself. Please forgive me for any shortcomings. All glories to Narad Muni. Here, Narad Muni is making King Prachina Parishat understand the real purpose of life through an analogical story of King Puranjana, as he was deeply involved in sense gratification. Animal killing is seen as an act influenced by the mode of ignorance, tamaguna, which hinders spiritual progress. While God provides the means for life, humans have the free will to choose between right and wrong. A developed human intellect should lead to compassion, making it a moral obligation to abstain from acts of unnecessary killing and suffering. According to man-made laws, if person murders another, he is condemned to gallows. But no action is taken against a man for killing animals. Such is not the law of providence. The law of God is such that it punishes the killers of both man and animals. Both acts of murder are penalized. However, the atheists deny the existence of God because in this way they think that they can commit sins unhindered. But all the revealed authorized scriptures say that by killing innocent creatures, the householders commit many sins, willingly or unwillingly, while performing their normal daily activities. So, to get release from these sins, the householders are enjoined to perform certain sacrifices. Foremost of these is to eat and honor the remnants of food offered to Lord Krishna. As of those selfish householders who cook food only for their own sensual pleasures and not for the service of Lord Krishna, they have to suffer all the sinful reactions incurred while cooking and eating. This is the law of providence. Therefore, to get rid of these sins, the followers of Vedic religion dedicate their household activities to Lord Krishna's service. Every living being has a specific purpose for its existence. The purpose definitely is other than being killed and eaten by others. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Sarva Yonishu Kaunteya 14.4. In every living being, there is a spirit soul. That means even in the animals, there is a soul. So we do not have the right to kill or eat flesh. Just there are government laws, so there are laws of nature or God laws. If we kill then that binds us to karma and we will get the reaction. The analogy of karma means to every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So either we do good or bad karma, we are still binding ourselves more to this material world. Also, just by seeing a meat dish on your plate does not mean everything is okay. There has been so much violence gone into it before you see the finishing product. Lord Krishna says that he is the original father of all living entities. Aham bija pradaha pitaha. Bhagavad Gita 14.4. So we do not have the right to kill anyone. If we do not have the right to give life to any living creature, we also do not have the right to kill them unnecessarily. A devotee is full of compassion and he cannot see anyone suffer, even the animals. Now, people might then question, but why am not actually killing the animal but just eating? Is that wrong too? The Manusmriti scriptures tells us that all the people get the reaction for being involved with the meat. All those involved in killing, consenting the killing, helping the killing, carrying, selling, buying, cooking, and eating the meat of an animal are equally sinful as the killing of that animal. The person who eats meat is also encouraging and in one sense supporting the killing. For example, if a few dacoits goes to rob a house and one stands outside the house to look out and other few dacoits steal from the house, if they get caught, everyone will be punished by the laws because the person who was outside was also supporting the crime. Similarly, one who eats meat is also involved and is liable for punishment. Plants and vegetables are also living beings. Is it not a sin to kill them for food too? This explanation is given in Srimad Bhagavatam 3.29.15, purport by the founder of Srila Prabhupada's. Sometimes the question is put before us. You ask us not to eat meat, but you are eating vegetables. Do you think that is not violence? The answer is that eating vegetables is violence, and vegetarians are also committing violence against other living entities because vegetables also have life. Non devotees are killing cows, goats, and so many other animals for eating purposes, and a who is vegetarian is also killing. But here is a significantly it is stated that every living entity has to live by killing another entity. That is the law of nature. Jivo jivasya jivanam. One living entity is the life for another living entity. But for a human being, that violence should be committed only as much as necessary. A human being is not to eat anything which is not offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yagnaha sistasninaha sanataha. One becomes freed from all sinful reactions by eating foodstuffs which are offered to Yagna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A devotee therefore eats only prasada or footsteps offered to Supreme Lord, and Krishna says that when a devotee offers him footsteps from the vegetable kingdom with devotion, he eats that. A devotee is to offer to Krishna footsteps prepared from vegetables, as said in Bhagavad Gita, Patram Pushpam Phalam Thoyam. If the Supreme Lord wanted foodstuffs prepared from animal food, the devotee could offer this, but he does not order to do that. So, yes, even plants and vegetables have souls, and killing them unnecessarily and for personal sense gratification causes sin. That's why it is recommended to offer the vegetarian food to Lord Krishna first, then later eat that food as prasadam or mercy. Lord Krishna can do anything, so he transforms the food offered to him into spiritual food. This will free us from sin and karmic reactions. So, eating only food offered to Krishna is the ultimate perfection of the vegetarian diet. After all, pigeons and monkeys are also vegetarian. So, becoming a vegetarian is not in itself the greatest of accomplishments. The Vedas inform us that purpose of human life is to reawaken the soul to its relationship with God. And only when we go beyond vegetarianism to prasada can our eating be helpful in achieving the goal. The best way to understand is a father has got some of children. It may be one is useless, but that does not mean that father will allow him to be killed. If the very intelligent child says, "Oh, my dear father, your this son is useless, let me kill him," the father will sanction? No, never. Similarly, the animal may be less intelligent. They cannot make protest. They are also equally nationals of. Thus, by following regulations, it is possible to keep oneself under control and not being pulled and drowned into the sense gratification, leading into heinous activities of killing animals and causing pain in other souls. Otherwise, there will be no scope for the development and evolution of the soul as it is caught up in the web of sense gratifications. Senses are never satisfied. The more we feed, the more demand for the gratification increases. So, one who understands this and follows the Vedas and regulations indeed will be freed from the karmic reaction. So, I stop here for today's reading. Please forgive me for any wrongcomings.